Smash has a bunch of cool characters, I mean, and a lot of the time when you watch someone compete at a high enough level, I mean, they get there because they know the game at a really in-depth level, right? The fun part about this is that knowledge of the game also extends to the characters that they play. Obviously, right? It's always really interesting to watch someone do the weirdest thing with their character you never even imagined was possible. A lot of the time these plays or setups or strategies are referred to as techs or techniques, and it's kind of a big term that can mean a bunch of stuff. It can be something as simple as landing the first hit of Joker's Hoarder because it can combo into a million different moves, or Snake's Infinite Recovery, the thing Pikachu does to jump up and use thunder at the same time. The point is, every character has some sort of cool tech, and it makes the game way more deep and interesting, and sometimes they can get really weird. So I thought it would be fun to start a little series here on the channel and go into one random specific tech for every character. I'm kind of just picking things I like. I don't really care if it's not fully optimal. As long as it has some sort of use in a competitive setting, I'll consider it. So if you like this idea and you want to be notified when we get to your main, make sure you subscribe. Ooh, I know it's annoying to hear this from a YouTuber, but it helps a lot, you know how it goes. And also, again, if you have any ideas for a later part, go ahead and leave a comment with whatever tech you think I should cover for them, or join our Discord and we can chat over there. And yeah, that's it. Let's get started. Alright, so this series is gonna begin with the S section of the 2024 community tier list. We're gonna go from bottom to top. That's a nice round 10 characters for this video, starting with our favorite falsely accused delinquent turned actual delinquent. Alright, Joker's one of my co-mains, so I have a lot of secret Joker knowledge to share with you guys. Ooh. I want to talk about the gun slide. Remember, I'm not instantly gonna gravitate to the most useful or common technique because I'm trying to keep this fresh and interesting. This game is a million years old. You probably already know about the Fair 1 confirm. So sorry Fair 1 confirm, sorry up air infinite combo and tether cancelling, sorry down throw down air and aerials out of gun. Joker has so much tech, I could keep this gag running forever. So let's get into the gun slide or the gun dash, because I don't see a lot of Jokers doing it, and it's kind of easy to do and it looks so good. And it's when you press neutral B at just the right time while in the air. You can buffer it out of a short hop and that's fun, but when you time it perfectly and do it a little bit later, you go way farther. Joker's one of those characters who's a mix between a bait and punisher and a rushdown, and this tech plays to both of those game plans. You can make some very sexual looking fake outs or surprise approaches by mastering this. It has very little lag, and of course it gives you more control over your position. If you time it wrong and get the regular gun slide, it's still not a bad option, and you can do it in a bunch of different situations like tech chasing on a platform or at ledge, but it does stale like rolls do, and the long slide does have less invincibility than the regular one. So if you want to be optimal with it, you gotta learn to not overuse it. But it's really fun. It's definitely one of my favorite things you can do with Joker's gun, and it's also super easy to execute, so have fun. By the way, from here on out, I'm gonna be linking a lot of sources for this, which might sound odd to some of you, but that's because I like to be thorough, and I'm not no information burglar. So I obviously went out to look a bunch of stuff up for this video to make sure everything was correct, especially for the characters I'm not too familiar with. So for every single character I talk about in this video, I'm gonna leave a link to the source I used for it in the description, so anyone who wants to take a closer look can do so, while my video goes into these techniques at a more entertaining and not so much technical level. I didn't use a guide to write the Joker stuff though, so you know what, I'm gonna leave you Joker mains with a 1 hour long video on gun instead. Diddy Kong is another combo character, which means movement options are super valuable, and in this case it's pop gun cancelling. Pop gun is Diddy's neutral B. I don't fight a lot of monkeys on locals, so I mainly bump into them online, and I kind of just see them mash banana because, I mean, fair enough, it's his best move. But stepping away from this disgusting fruit for a second, Pop Gun is still a great move, and this tech involves cancelling it midair by pressing neutral B and shield at the exact same frame and holding it. And the move will be cancelled and you can act out of it and also gain a bunch of momentum because this move can be B reversed. So it's good for movement, and like Joker, you can fake people out or go for an attack, and as a character that has high mobility as part of their game plan, this tech can go a long way on someone who's added this to their approach. This video by Solo Jones does a really good job at explaining the whole thing, so for more info, check this video's description, you know how it goes. Fox's Forwarder is really cool, and if you look up Fox Fair tech, you will most likely find like the drag down tech chase setup, which is really good, and it's used a lot more than the thing I'm actually going to talk about, which is the offstage drag down fair into Shine Cheese, or just drag down fair offstage in general, which is a goofy thing Fox can do. and I want to look into it. What you do is catch a jump or an air dodge or anything that allows you to land a fast fall of fair off stage, and you'll be hitting down with your opponent because this move is a multi-hit and it lasts for a while, which means if you get it right, you won't land the final hit of the move that does the actual knockback, and you'll be in a position where you can double jump and down beyond a hoe, or if you ended up on stage, you could just run off and do it and keep your jump, or maybe just skip the shine if you feel like it's not necessary this time and just fly off and get away with a robbery. This obviously isn't like a prime optimal Fox tech, but it's not useless either, and it's a fun thing to try if you catch a jump or something and your recovery goes super far. I've seen Light do this a bunch of times and it always feels like a complete robbery because this works at all percents and shine sense at a pretty gross angle, and if your recovery isn't busted or you have no jump, it's basically just Fox carrying you straight down and nudging you away from the stage, and a lot of characters just lose to that. It's really funky. Also, there's no Fox guide for this. I pocket Fox. I chose this because it was funny, so instead of a tutorial, you guys get a video of Light flossing after winning a set at SmashCon. For Peach and Daisy, I consulted their character Discord because all I found on YouTube were some super useful bread and butter stuff, which is all fun and nice, but I want silly shit. So I asked around and found out about the turnip train. This is a wild combo that loops into itself. The percent range depends on what kind of turnip you're using. For example, I found videos of the Stitch turnip going straight from 0 to death, but I'm not sure how true or tight this was. And then I found this video by RazoPCH or RazoPeach, I'm not sure, where he says that the perfect range for the regular turnip is 65 to 70%, and you usually do this sequence 3 to 4 times until finishing it off with an aerial or side B. To do this, your opponent has to be close in front of you, toss the turnip and dash float towards your opponent while Z grabbing it, land, and you can do this over and over until the knockback is too high, or you go for a finisher. Since turnips have different knockback values, the follow-ups you can get can vary. For example, sometimes you can get down tilt into fair, sometimes you can go straight for the back air, so of course Razzle's video will be in the description where you'll be able to find more info on turnips percent ranges and the best finishers for each turnip setup. For R.O.B, I was gonna talk about burner boosting, but I realized that so far 2 out of the 4 characters I've covered so far have some sort of movement tech as their thing, so instead I'm gonna talk about delayed ZZ. This is courtesy of Wave, a R.O.B player who made a great video explaining the whole thing. Apparently learning this is kind of mandatory for every R.O.B player. I know this video isn't meant to showcase like the most important tech for every character, you guys know it's just for fun. But I feel like this tech is too iconic to skip this time because delayed ZZ is what we're looking at when we see these ridiculous combos that make R.O.B carry you across the stage. And I want to make sure next time you see someone do it, you can be a nerd and at least know what the inputs are. I just spent like 1 hour trying to do one R.O.B combo for a video. I play Lucina, man. Like, I don't know stuff like this. That doesn't count. The guide for this is with all the other ones, and by the way, according to Wave, this is something you're supposed to learn after learning the double toss, whatever that is, so go ahead and learn it, my child. Anyway, delayed ZZ is in fact a combo related technique. You Z drop gyro in the air and press A to pick it up while inputting Nair at the same time. Then when you land, jump and press A to throw it again and Z grab it with the shield button, and then you have to Z drop it again as close to the ground as possible, and you're good. It'll set you up to start this loop again, and it can just keep going for a while. Delayed ZZ opens R.O.B up to a bunch of other combo extensions and finishers like the double toss, which I looked it up, it's just another insane R.O.B gyro combo, and side B, which pairs especially well with this because side B kills off the side, and what R.O.B is doing with this combo is pretty much carrying you to one side of the stage. Wave's video goes into a lot more stuff if you're interested, like what happens when you time the delayed Z drop wrong and stuff. And also, yes, I'm doing this on CPUs because I don't play R.O.B, and this would take me ages to land on someone. I play Lucina, I'm not used to using my brain that much. Speaking of not using your brain that much, for Pyra and Mythra, you Aegis mains are gonna get a treat because I decided to do one for Pyra and one for Mythra, and these 2 strats are cool. And by cool, I mean so dumb, but also kinda cool. It all comes from a mechanic that is sprinkled onto all sorts of attacks throughout Smash called hit stun modifying, and on paper, it's really nothing to pay much attention to. Basically, we know stronger attacks cause more hit stun and weaker attacks cause less hit stun, but sometimes, thanks to hit stun modifying, certain moves that are meant to have multiple hitboxes that are supposed to link into each other, like a bunch of jabs or Shulk's up smash or Kazuya's everything, will have more hit stun so they can connect better and work properly. So that's cool and fun, but for some $6 reason, some of Pyra and Mythra's multi-hit moves have some racist hit stun modifiers. With that out of the way, for Mythra, if you land only the first hit of her up B, which will most likely be when snapping to ledge while your opponent is already hanging from it, this part of the move has a hit stun modifier and you get a million frames to follow up with anything. Usually good follow-ups for this tech are moves like combo aerials, but also neutral B, which can be B reverse to scoop up opponents and kill. So yeah, that's cool. Basically, if you're Mythra and you can tickle someone on the ledge like this, you can follow up with a bunch of stuff. And now for Pyra, it's something very similar, but we use side B instead. It's a little bit more precise, but their ward is way higher. If you play Aegis, you probably switch to Mythra when it's time to recover sometimes, but if you ever end up recovering with Pyra, you can do it on your way back, but also you can just do this while on stage. And again, this move has a crazy hit stun modifier, so you use side B, hit your opponent for the hit stun and successfully cancel it because it hit the ledge, and you get some crazy combos. It's dumb. I got some of this info from Waidu. We all love Waidu. Go check out his video on it for more details, like opponents who get sent down after Mythra's up B and a bigger list of follow-ups. Like always, you know where the link is. You probably thought I was going to talk about the infinite recovery, but that's too easy. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows how to do it. Snake is one of my least played characters, and even I know how to do it because there's nothing to it. All you got to do is down B twice. So I'm going to hook up my Snake main audience and find something weird. And wow, I found a really nasty one. I'm starting to regret this. If you're a Snake main, it's not that good. You can skip this part. Alright, are they gone? What you just saw here is Snake purposefully damaging his side B Nikita with a grenade so that it takes 10% of damage. Why? Because Nikita only blows up after taking 20, which means a lot of up Bs can clank and push through it because they deal less than 20%, so there's no reason for Nikita to blow up. If you damage it with a grenade by throwing it in front of you and sending Nikita through it, it'll take 10% of damage from the grenade, and if anything else hits it for anything above 10%, it'll blow up on them, and you've made one of the best edge guarding moves in the game a lot better. That's messed up. I already hate fighting Snake. I'm not sure if this tech has a name. I found it on this video by Snake Connoisseur Poppin Swiss. You know what to do if you want more details. Just make sure you finish my video before you go. This one was difficult to find because Snake has a surprising amount of cool techniques we actually see a lot. There's the infinite recovery, but also B reversing grenades for landing mix-ups. There's the Z-nade that lets you optimize where you place your grenades and helps you get better follow-ups. And like I said, I want to visit techniques that are seen less, and I've never seen a Snake player do this. And I watch a lot of tournaments, so either this isn't that good in practice, maybe because it takes a bunch of time to set up, or it's one of those things where Snake players are always pressing buttons, so unless you know the matchup, you never really know what they're trying to get you with this time until it's too late. Alright, we've reached the big three, but I promise this Game to Watch tech is kind of insane because it makes this character look cool, which is already something that might be a little too hard to believe, but look at this. If the percent in DI align, this combo is kinda easy. You need to land the fourth and last hit of Nair while landing, and then jump up and footstool and buffer it down air. The ideal percent window for this is about 50%. It doesn't work on DI out, but on DI in and no DI, you're good to go. This takes some practice, but it can be a true combo if your opponent is at the right percentage. There is a little more nuance to it, like what happens if your opponent starts drifting to either side after the footstool. That can mess up whether or not you get the spike. So for more details, you know where to click to find Strobix Smash's video, which is what I used to learn this, but I don't see this as much. I'm not sure why, because it looks really cool, and landing there is one of the character's most used moves, right? I don't know, maybe this combo is tighter than it looks. My family showed me love and support growing up, so I rarely played Game & Watch, but I found that this was kind of easy to pull off in training mode. Fast falling a multi-hit Nair isn't hard, but in this case, since you need to land the last hit, you have to time it properly, so you can't just Nair and fast fall and get the setup for free all the time. But again, landing Nairs is a thing many Game & Watches do already, so if you main him, you probably already have these timings down. Good luck, please do it. It'll make your character more interesting, I swear. I rarely watch Sonic gameplay, can you blame me? So when looking for something to put in as Sonic's tech, I was a little worried I'd accidentally end up choosing something that was super obvious and is used all the time instead of something more niche like the rest of the stuff in this video. So I was just gonna go to this playlist by Lyco full of guides and pick the one with the funniest name. But at the same time, my homie Bam Snoozled over on my Discord server told me to talk about the spin shot, and it's actually something that shows up on this playlist. So alright, let's talk about the spin shot. Alright, you know what? I know saying positive things about Sonic is like a sin among the community, but This is actually kind of cool. All you gotta do is hold down side B and then release it and tap A. Just make sure you don't fully charge the side B, and remember you do lose your double jump and you do lose side B's hitbox. Once you get the hang of it, it's super easy to do, and because Sonic's whole thing is being overwhelmingly fast, this movement tech only adds to that. It lets you do cool mix-ups, it lets you do surprise edge guards, it gives you yet another way to zoom across the stage. I like it. I'll probably regret it, but you Sonic mains are gonna get an entire playlist in my works cited section. Except good luck copying and pasting this into your browser, because I'm gonna make a whole ass APA citation for it. Steve is probably the most difficult character for this video, in the sense that he has so many bizarre things that he can do, and it's so hard to pick just one. I've seen countless weird Steve plays, I considered countless weird Steve plays for a spot on this video, and I'm sure there are countless weird Steve plays that I still don't know about. The one I picked, I don't even know the name of, probably because this character has too much tech for its player base to even keep track of and name everything. But I saw this old tweet by Steve player Naxty that was covered by Beefy Smash dudes a couple years ago, and I guess finding broken Steve tech is nothing new, but I picked this because it looked cool, and also this is a ledge trap setup that can cover every get up option, and I don't see those a lot. Here it is. All you gotta do is place TNT and damage it so that one up B will make it blow up, and also make sure it ends up at neutral get up distance. According to Naxty, a stale down tilt will do the job, and then time yourself jumping and using up B down and diagonally towards the ledge to blow up the TNT, and also sending you to hang from ledge, causing a ledge jump that you can follow up with a back air. It does lose to get up attacks sometimes if you're not expecting it, but get up attacks are way less common and they're super punishable, so only a well-timed get up attack will beat it. I wouldn't say this is completely broken because it takes some time to set up, and it also does take good timing and execution as well. And there are Steve tricks that can cover most options that are faster to set up and are more consistent, and these are the ones you'll see be used more. But I hadn't seen this deck before, and it's such bullshit because its main weakness is that you can't react to this. You need to do up B as soon as your opponent inputs any get up option, and up B doesn't come out fast enough for a simple reaction to do it. But remember, this setup also causes a ledge jump, which means they'll probably be inputting something as soon as they grab the ledge to avoid it, which makes this way easier to time, and it gets worse because if they shield it in time after a neutral getup, you can do some insane shield damage because, I don't know, why not? So basically, if you do it in time, you get a crazy punish. If you do it too early, you get a ledge jump, unless you fumbled it completely and did it before your opponent even grabbed the ledge. And if you do it too late, the TNT might still hit and you can get a ton of shield pressure. So yeah, Steve is cool. Alright, so that was the first part of the series that I'll probably keep going. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I'd love to see some comments from you guys if you have any good ideas for what tech I should include for a certain character in the next part of this, which is going to include these 10 homies, aka the beginning of A tier. Personally, I think Lucina's a bit higher, but it's whatever. And again, if you want me to keep going, it would help out my channel a lot if you were to subscribe, and also so you won't miss the next part of the series, hopefully coming out no more than 2 weeks from now. No promises. Also, the Lucina one is gonna be really cool. I already know which deck I want to show you guys. Alright, that's it. That's it for me today. Bye.